guys, welcome to Tuna Talk. Tonight we have our friend Tristan in here, our resident UK guy.
I'm a Brit.
And he's a Brit. And Jason, which you're probably tired of seeing at this point. But we're going to talk about car shows, United States, Europe. So most people, regardless of where you live, have gone to an international auto show. There's ones that go by an international auto show by name and aren't necessarily, they already are an international auto show, but usually, unless you're dealing with the big three, so Los Angeles, Detroit, New York, you're dealing with, like the Philadelphia Auto Show or, whatever state you're in, like Orlando International Auto Show. It's basically just an opportunity for local car dealers to show the new cars. Mm-hmm. It's not, you don't see a lot of show, like, unveils and stuff. You go to
cars
New York,
aren't debuted.
You go to Orlando, there's like, oh, here's the new Jeep, but you go to New York and there's a Ford GT hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference in scale.
Or Audi's blocking everything with an advertisement.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, international auto shows are a good opportunity for you to see like the new stuff. Now with social media being what it is, you see that stuff pop up long before it's getting released. I think they just showed the Supra at Goodwood. It's like the first time it actually went on the road.
Yeah.
So you see
with camo still on it.
I've never seen, and they call it an unveil. It's like it's still in camo, guys. Show us the actual car. But so if you don't go to the big three, you're looking at the smaller international auto shows. You still get to see some cool stuff. Yeah, it's still worth going. It probably, but not everybody has the opportunity to travel all over the country. Mm-hmm. I have yet to go to the LA Auto Show. I've been to New York multiple times, Detroit, but I haven't been to LA because it falls so close to SEMA.
I'm surprised he's never been to the LA.
Yeah, I have some too.
Well, it's because it falls so close to SEMA, and it's right before SEMA, or right after SEMA.
Just take more time.
Yeah, because that
just stay. Because
it's just so easy. Anybody who wants to pay for me to cover the Detroit Auto Show?
And me.
You go to Vegas, you gamble. If you win, then you go.
Yeah, well,
if you lose,
I've been to Vegas a million times that I've never won. Not in Vegas, but so American auto shows, the next step down. So you've got a few series right now, like Tuner Evo is national. You've got Clean Culture, which is national.
Slammed Enough is picking up.
Slammed Enough is picking up. Wackfest, Wacky Fest. Or
I just went to EUEX in Georgia as well.
If any fellow Pennsylvanians, you'll know about Carlisle, which has like 3 shows a year that are massive. And then and that's the mainstream stuff. Simply Clean here in Orlando, which is only a one event thing. There's a few series that are going to go national. There's a new series called Tuned Originals, which is a friend of mine that I used to judge Hot Import Nights with, Wayne. He's very well known in Texas and a lot of other places. He basically ran Hot Import Nights for years. He started his own series. They did 4 shows. I'm going to say 4 shows last year and more to this year to come.
Whatever happened to Hot Import Nights?
I don't know.
I remember them.
Technically, they're still around. They're still around. They have the same owner. Wayne and I retired a few years ago as judges. He was their event coordinator for a long time. Like I said, I was one of the senior judges for years. And we let it go.
So basically, people fell out of the picture.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it hasn't really evolved. Mm-hmm. The name recognition gets the turnout, but it hasn't really evolved. It used to be, it was really popular when the Fast and Furious movies first came out because you had this show indoors in the dark
with music.
Right. It was like going to a club.
It was with a car.
That was
the appeal of it.
And that was the appeal of it.
Yeah.
And it's turned into something where it's not really dark anymore. The shows are not in the big venues anymore. And it's not anyone's fault. I think you can't blame it on anything. The venues are very expensive. Anybody who runs a national show will tell you to drop $30,000 for the room for the day
the convention center
is a lot of money, and you think they make a ton of money. Their vendors pay, yes, but the spectators and everybody's trying to get a deal. So, and Hot Import Nights was probably the most expensive event, but because to enter your cars were like $65, and then to go in the door was like $25. Where a lot of these tickets now like $10-$15. You get in.
It was $5 a Simply Clean.
Yeah.
For visitors.
Well, Simply Clean is also outdoors, so it's you're at the mercy of the weather.
True.
I've worked Hot Import Nights, and events. And you want to hear Die Hard? I worked a Hot Import Nights event in Houston, Texas, a couple years ago, and when I landed the airplane, there were warnings going off in the airport for tornado warnings. Everybody's like, "You wasted your time. You flew out here. There's never going to be a show." No, and I got to the venue real early in the morning. It was like rolling was like at 9 in the morning or something like that. It started, and I got there at 8 o'clock. And I walk outside the back. And let me tell you something. Driving in the cab over there, it was black. Like the sky was night. And I got there, and I'm like, ooh, ooh. And I got there, and I walked in, and I walked out the back door where the loading ramps were, and there were 75 cars under the underpass waiting to load in.
Huh.
And that show did like record numbers. We did 250 cars at that event, and nobody gave Texas. Hoorah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Those guys don't care.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what? My car's lowered? I'll make it. I'll just go earlier. You know,
Yeah.
what? The car's going to blow away. Can you get me in the door real quick before my car blows away? Stuff like that. But they're around. I don't know what Mike and the guys are planning. I'm pretty sure there's new people behind it, money wise. So we'll see. I mean, Mike and I go back a long time, so it's like,
And the brand still has.
and the brand does.
Yeah.
But you know, when you can't settle for the smaller venues, you can't do the outside, and you lose fan base because
Yeah.
they want this. They want that consistency.
Well, and they want the spectacle.
And the thing about Hot Import Nights, it's been around so long, it's now generational.
It
It's
is.
like Dad brought the kid. Now the kids
Now
are
the kids' cars. Yeah.
A lot of these shows are like, you know, you walk around, it's like lower, stand, air, stack. It's like there's no, and the big builds are just like, wow. Like, you know, here's this RX-7 that I saw 200 which is insane with a motor build and paint you could swim in, and it was wide bodied.
The orange one?
It was like burgundy. It was like a,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. It looked like the car was made of water. Like, it was just beautiful. But you know, people say, oh, nobody spends some money on the builds, but the big builds stand out. They stand out. Your friend with the Miata, I met him at one of those events, the white Miata, Michael.
Oh, I don't know. It's like Copeland or something?
Yeah, the white with the crazy big
That
white.
thing is insane.
And the car is just, the good builds stand out.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the shows, you know, there's local, like, I think it's always going to be the hot rod shows and the old collectible car shows stand out. In Florida here, we have our own Festival Speed, not to be confused with Goodwood's Festival Speed.
Yeah.
And those shows are amazing. You know, those guys do an amazing job of bringing the big cars.
Yeah.
You know, I went there and I walked in. There were 3 McLaren P1s.
Yeah, I remember the guy was so chill about it. He was like, yeah, go ahead, go behind the ropes, go take photos of it. You can get in it if you want.
Matt Jones,
Super
McLaren,
nice guy.
absolutely awesome dude. But you know, he's like, oh yeah, have you sat in this? I love him. He's like, have you sat in the 720 yet? I'm like, no, but I'm about to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If this is an offer, you know. But the cars, you get to see some over the top stuff, and I always bring my NSX or whatever for the show. But that's
He
a
gets
bit.
fanboyed so hard.
He does.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The people I've had the NSX so long that people don't know what it is. They're like, what is that? Is that a Lambo? What is this vehicle of which you speak?
It's
Yeah.
a Fiero.
Yeah, no, it's like, or again, is that a Lamborghini?
It's a
I'm
Honda
like,
Emerald.
no, this doesn't break. You know, this doesn't break.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
you go to shows like that, Festival Speed, great show. If you get a chance to go to them, they do a really big one in St. Pete. They do one in Lauderdale or Miami,
Hey, full Lauderdale.
and they do one here in Orlando in December. So right around Christmas time, it's an amazing day. And it's the one event I never miss. Like that's one event it's that Simply Plain. I never miss it except last year. But
Because of complications.
well, my dad was sick, but the whole situation was those shows are, you know, they set a standard.
Mhm.
Then you got the next level. So car shows like Pebble Beach, which is not the easiest thing to get into. Amelia Island, which is you've got to have some coin to get in because I think it's $120 or $140 to walk in the door. It is an opportunity to see some amazing things and meet some amazing. I mean, you walk around and here's, you know, we went to one year and we were like, you know, Nicky Lauda was there.
Yeah.
Sterling Moss is there.
Well, yeah, and that's
Valentino Balboni. You know?
that's the difference. I think that a lot of people don't realize that at car shows you have the opportunity to meet people and to network, and it's not just about looking at cars. Like looking at cars is sort of like the base level thing that you do, but you get to shake hands with people you otherwise would never meet and talk to people you otherwise would never talk to, and it's a relaxed environment.
It is, and those people are there, and they're not. I've yet to meet a famous person at a show that was rude.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like hold your attitude with some of these people because some of them are just so polite. There's people who go in having an image about how someone is and how they act because you're you're Sterling Moss, you're famous, and they're just the most humble, down-to-earth people you can ever meet, and all they want to do is share their knowledge with you.
And I love to go with a younger crowd because they don't know who these people are. And then when you start trying to explain, when you have to explain who Sterling Moss is, or this is Valentino Balboni, who's Valentino Balboni?
Yeah.
I want them to go home that night and Google all this stuff and be like, oh my God, Valentino Balboni is Lambo's test driver. You know,
for the longest time.
You spend an hour and a half talking to him.
Amelia is one of those places where you can stand there, and I was literally looking at Niki Lauda's Formula One car, and I'm looking at it, and I look over, and 10 feet away is Niki Lauda.
Oh,
and I was like,
geeked out so hard.
You know, you want to like geek out and giggle the whole way over. Sterling Moss brought like 6 of his cars. He brought a GTO, a birdcage Maserati, all mint green, all as raced, all original cars. You go there. So we walk out, and I walk over and get to meet him, and he's a nice guy, and he shakes your hand, and you're like, oh my God, I met a legend. You know, there were cars. There was a bunch of rally cars, for example. Where are you going to walk up and see a Lancia 164, a Stratus, the Rothmans 959? You know,
the junkyard.
Oh, come on.
Tell me where this junkyard is, because I'm going.
Yeah, I want to go.
I want to
get some parts.
Yeah, I'll be taking selfies in the junkyard.
Got me a door, guys.
Yeah, got me a door.
I'll buy a whole shell.
But I mean, that's an experience that you spend the money. Go once.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to go every year, but experience it. But you and I recently, you were shooting photography for us for a while, so we went to Jackfest. You're from the UK. My tour guide, yeah.
the tour guide, hey, this place has horrible fish and chips, this place has good fish and chips.
Yeah, no, it's a good shippy.
Witherspoons is a good place for the family.
So we went to the UK and we got a tour of Pro Drive,
which was amazing, by the way.
Which was
by Jackie
Jackie Irwin. Props to Jackie Irwin.
I love you.
She's an amazing British woman who was the nicest and most gracious tour guide you could ever imagine. She was like, oh, we can't go here, we can't go there. Before the night, it was like, yeah, come on, show you everything.
Except for that one kid. There was one guy who, she goes, this is Colin's World Rally Subaru. He won, and the guy just cuts off like, who's Colin McRae?
And then so there was a gentleman.
Why are you even looking at rally cars?
He was like 27 too.
He's old enough to know.
He was a young guy.
So I'm planning on going to see Pro Drive, and because it's Pro Drive. If anyone doesn't know what Pro Drive is, Google it. They've won more races than most people can count.
Yeah.
So
you've seen an Aston Martin in a race. Pro Drive.
So you walk in the door. I'm surprised Aston Martin isn't connected to Pro Drive, but you walk in the door and you're expecting, okay, well, it's this rally team in this formula, it's a Le Mans cars, and you walk in the door of the lobby, and there's an Aston Martin Vulcan parked next to.
It was a Vulcan, Colin McRae's
22B,
his 22B,
and a Clubman race car,
Mini Clubman race car.
Cooper.
Yeah.
And then that's in the lobby, and then you go into the shop.
Where do we go from here?
They're like, these are the cheap cars. We don't care about these.
And then you go into the shop. And you can literally, like, if you laid on the floor, you'd be getting the floor dirty. And it's like, here's Jensen Button's Formula One car, the first car he ever won a race in. Here's another Colin McRae 22B that raced Paris Dakar or something.
They had stuff like, here's the rock that ended Colin's race on this event, and the Japanese government, they stamped it with a plaque saying,
this is the rock
better luck next time.
This is the rock that ended your Japanese rally chances.
So much, and the suits,
Porsches,
the helmets, everything.
Porsches the first Porsche 911 that ever raced rally.
Yeah.
That
MG,
the MG.
What's I feel dumb right now. What's the experimental rally division? Type
Group B?
Group B. They had the Group B MG. The whole car is magnesium.
They had a Holden with like center.
Group B MG.
Yeah, it was a Group B MG.
They had a Holden. I think it was a Holden, right?
Yeah, they had a Holden.
Center steering wheel. It was in the middle of a Holden Monaro.
Yeah, it's yellow.
Yeah. So all these great cars, and then then you get questions asked to yourself like this: oh, we're going to fire up the Le Mans car, the new prototype Le Mans car for Aston Martin. You want to watch? Like, how do you say yes fast enough?
Yeah.
And then you go outside to fire this thing up for the webinar.
Yes.
Let's go through R&D. So we're watching how they make their own metal for the cars. How they take digital imagery of the car with pinpoints so they can make the exact same part. The exact same model car for over and over and over and replicate it.
To the nanometer was the precision. They wanted it to be precise.
And you go through, and there's like, oh, here's what we made for the space rover. Here's the parts we made for this. And you're going through all this, and it's just phenomenal. I mean, I could go on for an hour just explain that. And then you get into the showroom. You go back. We came back.
You go through like this cabling room where they have all.
Well, they lay out all the harnesses,
yeah.
And they're like, "Hang on, we got to cover this car before you take any pictures of it because this car is going to race tomorrow and has some top secret stuff in it, so you can't see it."
No, there was a car.
We could see it, but they wouldn't let us take pictures.
I took a photo of a white Subaru, which we can now talk about. But there was this white Subaru that was built, and we're like, "What is this?" They're like, "Oh, it's a 750." And the guy's like, "No," just yells, and he runs over me. He goes, "Did you take that photo? I need to see your S drive right now. Give me your camera." And he takes my camera from me. He's like, delete. Okay, you can continue. And they cover the car.
But you're dealing with top secret racing technology.
Yeah.
You're dealing with that level, and it's no problem to delete a picture like that.
They don't care.
You still get to see it.
Yeah.
You can't unsee it. We saw the Aston Martin car that won Le Mans.
Mm-hmm.
Got to touch it.
We saw a few of the.
Yeah, a few of them. They had like 7 of them there.
Yeah.
But you
the 09 winner.
But you have this conversation and you're talking to these people and they just everybody there was happy to work there. Everybody out there was like,
how can you be unhappy?
but they're like,
further?
we're at the top of our game. You know, literally
Yeah.
at the top of our game. And we pulled in, and I noticed that every car in the parking lot was
Backed in.
backed into a parking spot. And I said to her, I said, this is going to be a silly question, but why is it? Because, well, the owner feels that the back of a car is the ugly part of a car. So we all back into our parking spots.
Company policy, you
It's
have
company
to back
policy.
I do it as a habit anyway.
So yeah,
Perfect
we went, and it was just a beautiful experience. It's nice to see these guys. They're like the brain surgeons of the car world.
Yeah.
Welcome to Florida weather, right? And then we got to go to Jap Fest. Now,
I gotta say before that though, like I don't know if it's as cool as it was to you, but to me there's this room that they just breeze through it real quick. They're like, oh, and these are just the Armored Queens vans. They're nothing special. It's just bulletproof glass and bomb-proof vans. And we're like, what? And they're like, yeah, they have supercharged V8s, so they can do about 160. Don't even worry about
here's
it.
these parts that are made out of Inconel.
Walk by it.
It's like, yeah, it's like, but it was crazy.
They just breeze by.
And there's that one guy, as we're walking through the lobby, a guy is holding the entire rear end of an Aston Martin DB9. The trunk, the wing. He's holding it by the wing. It's the trunk, the wing,
He's
the
literally
rear bumper,
walking
the
through the
lights.
shop with the whole back of the
Yeah.
car.
I'm like, what
That's
is
how
this?
light it is.
It's like carbotanium. It's like, I don't know, 8 pounds, and just sets it down on the ground.
So we go to Jap Fest, which props to the Brits, because I've yet in my life to see a car show like that.
Well, the queue.
You were the queue. Nobody complaining, nobody grumbling, everybody happy. Well, we're British.
Just
You know?
standing in line.
He got to the line, he's like, this is going to take like 4 hours, we're never going to get in. 5 minutes later, we went through this like quarter-mile long queue.
Lady at the door looking at your tickets like, thank you for coming. Okay. You know, I'm used to Disney where it's like, rah, rah, come see the mouse, you know.
Yeah, no one's happy in the line of Disney.
And it's like
cute at Disney.
So we get into the show, and the plan was you were going to shoot it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw how big the show was, I'm like, give me the backup camera.
Yeah.
The amateur is going to try to take some pictures because we would have never.
They had all of Silverstone taken out. They took the B track as a drift circuit for the pro drifters. They took the C track as an amateur drift circuit, and then they had the main A portion track for people to autocross and just race their cars.
So to give you an example,
a guy blew up his Nismo 370Z in an amazing fashion.
And we saw an R34 4-door like catch fire.
Yeah.
Right? But put it out pretty quick. But just to give you an example how this started. First of all, Jap Fest takes place. Jap Fest takes place in 2 different tracks. It's twice a year. Donington and Silverstone. Silverstone is like one of the biggest Formula 1 track in the UK. So imagine a car show that you could bring your car, and for £30 over the admission price, no matter what your car is, you had access to every track.
Yeah. Drift,
whatever you're watching Honda Civic EP3 Type Rs ripping around the track, being slid around by V8 RX-7s. There was an STI that our friend at Jap Performance had. They had an STI with an RB26 rear-wheel drive.
Oh yeah, I know
I had 2 favorite cars in that event. There was an Evo 8 or an Evo 8.5, which is pretty famous. It's got a rust wrap on it. It's got like 800 brake horsepower, and he was just a monster around the track. And it was him and this guy in this black, not your Gen NSX, the second Gen NSX, that just kept battling at it all day long. And watching an NSX drift around turn 3 at Silverstone at like 90 to 95 miles an hour, it's just like, you're going
We're
for
not
it.
talking about a car at a time. We're talking about 6, 7 cars hitting a corner at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the smoke would just roll in and blind you. You couldn't see anything.
And this is a GTLM NSX.
How many
with
cars
scoop
have
and
you
everything.
figure out were at that show?
Well, they did a head count. Well, there was, 257 Subaru STIs at
Yeah,
just
just
Subaru
that
cars
So you go to
in the Subaru section.
So you go to a car show here, and it's maybe 150 cars, 200 cars. There were at least 100 Evos.
Yeah.
I think it was something between like 3,000-ish cars. Like
Yeah,
2,000
it was
to 3,000.
thousands of cars.
Well, the
Yeah.
UK is
and 3
generally
times that people.
Yeah.
The UK is generally better about track days anyway. I've always admired how they go about track
There were
days.
so
That's
many.
because the government is so strict. They have to allow
Yeah,
some
and
Oh,
every
yeah,
car
yeah.
there was nice. No rat boxes.
Yeah.
It was what?
because of regulations.
It's
and
MOT,
checkups.
right?
Yeah, MOT. You got to make sure your car isn't falling apart at the hinges, unless it's an Alpha. Then you assume it's falling apart.
Well, it's yeah.
But what
That's
was
the best
what
they
was,
can do.
what was great about the show is, and this is things that I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed. All the cars had plenty of space. No one was crammed on top of each other.
Yeah.
No one was like door to door.
They
So wait,
left,
so
they
this-
left a 3-foot gap between each car. That
There
was
was-
mandatory.
There was enough room for a 3-foot gap between each car, and there was like 3,000 cars there.
You could have landed planes
Yeah.
in this place. That's
They
how big
had
it is.
all of Silverstone: the infield, the outfield, the circuit field, the track
There-
itself.
and they had it
The bridge.
broken down
Wow.
to like. So here's all the Subarus.
Mhm.
Here's the McLaren.
It's like sorted by
Here's
manufacturer.
here's like ProDrive P1s. Here's all these cars. Here's all the Toyotas. Here's, and you're looking at Supras, Crown Athletes. And blah blah blah. Miatas for days.
Oh my god! There was. I mean, it's the how many Type R DC5s were there? I filmed a
I
shot
want to say.
of like I think it was like 60 DC5 type, just
Yeah.
like all
I mean,
the way along.
in reality, I guarantee there's at least 25 of them. No
I
joke.
exaggerate.
No joke. But great people, great event. The scale of it was great. The quality of the cars were great. There was a company out there that does JDM importing to the UK called Torque GT. Got to meet all those guys, and they had one of every Honda Type R
Ever made in white.
So
With
they
red
had
interior.
NA1, NA2, Type R NSX, DC5, DC2, like every one, EP3, every one of them. The collection they brought. I don't know how they pulled it off, but it was amazing.
And no matter which generation, if a car wasn't ever made in America but it was released in Japan only, if it wasn't made in England but it was released in America, wherever, they had it in white with red interior, Type R.
Wow.
And it was like, why is there a left-hand drive car here? Oh, because the only one we could find was from America. I was like, okay.
So but it was the scale.
Oh, it's massive.
The scale. Now, but the thing is, like you were talking earlier about Hot Import Night.
Yeah.
There are show series that have come and gone. I mean, there's show series that were here and then now they're not. The one I miss the most is the Nopi Nationals.
Wow.
Back in the
Nopi
day,
Nationals.
there used to be this at Nopi, #1 parts importer or incorporated or something like that.
Napa business or something.
Yeah,
like that.
so Nopi was like Summit,
Oh, okay.
okay? But they were Summit for import guys.
Huh.
And they used to do this event,
Actually,
One-
know if it even came
I have
from
no
this.
idea
what it is.
I've heard of it, but
well, they used to do this event once a year in Atlanta at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It was a 2-day event. You got to drive, park your car, go to a hotel that night, and bring your car back the next day. It was a 2-part event, 2-day event. And they would do drifting, and they would do track events, and they would have all this craziness. And they had everything. There's a Toyota section, there's a Honda section, blah, blah, blah. And they had, but if you went to Nopi, you went to the Super Bowl. That was like, if your car won a trophy at the Nopi Nationals, like, the magazines would bow. Every magazine in the world was there. Super Street, everybody was there. And if you won, one of our cars was lucky enough to win one year. I mean, we took second place, but still a trophy at Nopi.
yeah.
We took second place Honda overall.
Oh, so you got the Fiebra's love.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a little bit before that, but yeah. But we did a Honda Accord that it was like a V6. It was a Honda Accord. We did a manual conversion. It was well done. And another reason I think one of the big reasons it was done by a girl who was a model. And when I met this girl, they were like, "Oh, there's this girl. She's a model. She does all her own work on her car." I'm like, "Sure, she does."
Yeah.
I know the car you're talking about.
Yeah. And I'm still friends with her, but she literally does all the work on her own car. She literally would sit there and she wasn't.
I have no clue who this might be because I've never cared one iota about what happens in the Honda world.
Yeah.
at all.
I don't
was
know
nice
because you
stuff.
showed me.
It was
photos.
called the car was called the Black Cat, and it was I'll show you later on. But I mean, but Nopi was a big time. We brought the Initial D clone that we did at BAE there, and we literally had a professional drifting team drive over to where we were in golf carts just to see it. We heard it was here, drove over, and it was a tire company, and they came over and they're like, "Well, can we drive it? Can we take it on the track?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah.
Because what you will do.
Yeah, too much money, you know, and
Will do.
yeah, too much money, you know, and
Will do.
yeah, too much money, you know, in making this thing look the part. And that car was literally at the Anime Festival of Orlando as the Initial D car.
Oh,
Isn't that the car you had to fight to find like the right fog lights and everything?
There was a lot of CSI, you know,
Deciphering what this comic book art
Yeah.
actually is.
Yeah.
And what's funny is there's this Kenji on the side of the car, and there was at that time no one had done one of these clones. I think it was one that was done in Europe.
no one had done.
No one had done
This
one.
is ages of years ago.
And we
When
did it.
Initial D
So
was,
we
like,
did it.
first
So
time.
we did it movie correct. Like there isn't a muffler, so we made one that matched. Okay, we were great. It had the 20 valve, like in stage 5. It had the carbon hood, like in stage. So anyway, on the side it says Fujiwara Tofu Company.
Shop, yeah.
So getting the right proportions, screenshots. Luckily, there's actually an Initial D live action movie
Yes.
that we were able to do
It's
a lot
awful.
of high quality stuff. It's
What do you mean?
I
It's an
still love-
amazing movie.
I still love
It's
it.
so bad.
I still love its hardness, but we took the car to a show.
Which excluded you.
So ironically,
So bad.
going back, it was a Hot Import Night show.
Ah.
We go to a Hot Import Night show. We roll the car in there, literally under a car cover, because we had this deal with. I want to say it was Tunerzine Online Magazine at the time, that they were going to get to take photos of it before.
Oh, they had like
anyone else.
exclusivity rights.
Yeah. We knew the photographer. It was kind of like one of these deals. And so the car's at the show. We literally put the car. I can't remember the company. I don't want to diss them. A company gave us a carbon fiber hood for it. I want to say it was this. I'm not positive if it was or wasn't, but it gave us.
Probably
a hood
they've
for
been
it.
around for forever.
So they gave us a hood. I will put it in the comments somewhere what it was because they were really nice. They were really nice to us. But they gave us the hood. We literally installed the hood at the show. Okay, and what happened was we had all these cars in a display. Black Ops always had these huge displays. We had like 8 cars. Crazy stuff.
That's never gone easy though.
Yeah, you go big or go home with that kind of stuff, especially with him because we knew everybody. And the car's under a cover, and we had a big screen TV with Initial D ready to play. And this was when big screen TVs were like not flat screen TV.
Yeah.
We had a truck bring it there, a van, like right, and it was like this screen was this tall. Yeah, it was
a fridge.
fridge.
Yeah.
So we put the car on, and we had it under the cover, and
I didn't know that.
And I would, and the guy from the
This
back,
dude brought a Teletubby along.
probably. Yeah. So we have 2 models, and this photographer called me and said, "I'm stuck in traffic. There was an accident on the turnpike, and I'm going to be late." And I'm like, "How late is late?" I said, "I won't be there until like 7:30 at night." I'm like, "This show opens at 5. I can't unveil the car," and I was pissed because I was like, all these people are walking around seeing all this. We spent so much time on this car.
And they're just looking at a car cover.
They're looking at a
But
car
I
cover.
bet that created so much buzz.
And I walked, and my friend Bob, who used to be one of the judges before I became a judge for him, I'm still friends with, walks over and I'm venting to him like, "Son of a, I can't take this cover off." And he's like, "Dude, you're telling a bunch of teenagers they can't see something."
Yeah.
He goes, "Trust me, when you want, just tell them what time you're going to unveil it, and you will pack your display." I'm like, all right. So we told him to come back at 7, because this guy was constantly on the phone with us. We're going to be there. So he gets there, we literally wristband, walk him into the venue, we clear a spot. Meanwhile, the entire booth is surrounded shoulder to shoulder with people. He gets set up.
It's a
and
Honda Civic.
the whole night I'm telling
I would
people,
have shot someone.
the whole night I'm telling people, come back at 7. Can't show you. Come back at 7. Can't tell you. Man, let me see. No. And people are trying to guess. They look at the shape, and it's all this. It was a car cover for like a Skyline, so it was way bigger than the car. So you couldn't see anything. It just was a blob, right?
that point, the closest bit you have is like, it's a BB.
And this was accidentally genius, but
So some of the best things happen by accident.
Yeah.
So
And also,
the guy sets up his camera, he gets ready, and the girls go over, and they grab the cover, and my friend Phil is like ready with the TV, and they pull the cover, hit it, initial D comes on, they pull the cover, and I literally had one of the best experiences of my life because the guy standing in front of me had a camera in his hand, waiting to see what the unveil was.
Yeah.
And he's ready to take a picture, and the car gets unveiled, and he goes, and initial D's playing all these cars, and the entire crowd just freaks out. And then we're like, this is what we did, this is the story, it's correct. And then we pop the hood, and this thing's got a 20 valve with side draft carbs, and like people lost. I didn't stop talking to people for 6 hours maybe. Like we were rolling out, and people were still freaking out. And we had, I think, the next year we brought that car and an R32 GTR that was done up like the Night Kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a yellow RX-7 that had
Perfect. The Red Sun's car. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had it all. We did the. I'm a huge Initial D fan, but it was one of those experiences. But Hot and Poor Nights could do that. That had that thing, the energy, and it was an amazing experience. And so many people came over. How do you do it? And now there's a ton of clones, 80s clones, and it's been done a million times. I always said if I hit the lottery, I'd go buy a white LFA and make a Fujiwara tofu LFA.
Like an updated LFA.
That'd be awesome. What are you gonna do?
they were pretty cool.
But that's the way it's been. But like Nopi's gone. The owner died at one point. Its attendance was going down. It's hard to do a show at 95-degree temperature in the middle of a racetrack every year. People, but Nopi Nationals, I literally did the show, and then at night they would have concerts. I literally watched Motley Crue at Nopi. I mean, that's the level.
Who? Motley Crue.
Yes.
Nice.
I mean,
What?
yes, it's called heavy metal, and yeah.
No.
So but that was the level that you would have.
Wow.
And it's gone, and it's a shame it's gone. I still talk to a few of the judges from it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still friends with them.
So what happens now? Like, where do car shows go from now? I
Well-
mean, it's not like the formula necessarily has to
Well,
change.
here's
It's
the
like
problem.
Alice Cooper's going to show up at
The
Cincinnati.
problem is the formula. The problem is the formula. The cost of doing a hit event is high because of the venue. It's also high because you've got models and bikini contests. So you've seen in a lot of the shows recently, there are no more bikini contests.
I think it's a fire marshal's worst nightmare, too.
Why
Yeah,
are there no
like
more
now.
bikini contests?
Because it costs a lot to pay modeling teams to come in.
That's the answer, right? That's why the shows are done. No more bikini contests.
No more bikinis.
We just solved it. That's what it is.
Then you have shows like, there's events that are
Single nerdy dudes.
have been dying since they started.
Mhm.
I mean, you had Mystery Meet in Orlando,
That's
which was kind of
a great concept.
it was.
Yeah, I think it could have.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
could've
it
been
could
amazing.
if
have
you-
been really
if
good.
You did it.
I had a good experience at one of them. I can't remember.
Well, yeah, it's literally like
The one that was in downtown.
so they
I
all
got rear-ended at that one.
They did.
I got rear-ended.
It was
Well,
parked.
I rear-ended someone. Who's
There's,
a
those
no.
those events were kind of a crapshoot. So the first event, the stories vary, but apparently the guy who runs the event didn't get permits, so he got kicked out, and everybody got kicked out, and the cops were kicking us out. It was like going to a car meet that
Like a really
had
big
permission.
Sonic.
Yeah.
So that's how it was, and it was a bad taste. Then he did the second one. He did the second one downtown under the highway.
That's the one I went to.
And
That was really good.
everybody
It was
had
fun.
a great
Yeah,
time.
it was really good.
And it was amazing, and it was great. The problem is
Jeez, I went to that in the eclipse.
his idea.
I went to that in a Hyundai Genesis 2.0 turbo coupe.
I lie. It wasn't even an eclipse. It's an Eagle Tower.
I took a-
It was an eclipse.
It's a DSM.
It was a
I took
Mitsubishi.
a 32 GTR that one, I think.
Show off.
Yeah, well, with a 33 and a 34. So, but if you're gonna go. But anyway, and I think at that point he lost his mind.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, look how big this is, and it's great. And then,
It did do really well. I mean, that
It
was
did.
a good show.
but I think success went to his head. And then what happened is he did the third one, and he got all this vendor money, including some of mine, and we had booths set up and everything. And somebody threw a water bottle at a cop, and
Oh, yeah,
the
that
cops
was
came
upset
and
then.
closed the show down and told us we had to leave our own spot that we had paid thousands of dollars literally for. And then they came back, and after we complained about it, they said, "Oh, well, you don't have to leave." I'm like, "Yeah, but you just kicked all the people out.
No one's
Yeah.
there
For us
anymore.
to sit here, where's our customer?
Right.
Where's the client for us to be
What's
here
the
for?"
point now for
And
vendors?
so what happened was that just was literally what I like to call a shit show, and that's what happened. And it died. The
That's
next,
a bleep cameraman.
yeah, sorry about that. And the next one was the event, the event that happened at OSW,
You remember
which
that one?
is a
No one could get out.
legendary failure.
People ran out of gas in the line.
Interestingly, the lesson hasn't been learned, and that's not the organizer of Mystery Meat's fault. For Formula Drift Orlando this year, it was just that bad to get out.
It's the venue.
Well, it's because
It's a choke point.
It's because the owners of OSW, maybe not, who knows, but somebody decided to put on a truck show that was starting at the time that OSW was letting out. So nobody can get out because there was cars trying to get in.
And you had trailers with like double wide trucks blocking the entrance, and you just had to sit there with a clear road.
I was in the lot for 3 hours trying to get out.
I was on my motorcycle.
Amazing.
I rode around everyone,
So
and
did
people
I.
were mad. They were flipping me off.
no.
When they did that event at OSW the first time, and the problem I think with the formula, other than management,
Yeah.
is
And
that
8 exits turning into one choke point.
it's a situation where let's get everybody. And I understand, I appreciate the fact that you want to be like, let's get the whole world to come to my show, let's make this the biggest show ever. And make it really cheap for people to get in, and I totally get it, not everybody has money. But what happens is, when you let people in that don't normally go to shows, and don't have a lot of money, they have no respect for people's cars, they have no respect for anything. Cars got broken into.
Yeah.
And then a
Cars
fight
got
happened at that one.
It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We parked our Skylines and stuff next to the Garage Orlando's display because they were on the entry road. And at 1 o'clock, I looked at my friend. I'm like, let's go right now. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And it took us 45 minutes to go from Orlando Speed World to Waterford Lakes.
Wow.
And
Which is like
the stories I heard.
Like a 10 or 12
The stories I heard that night were 6 hours to get out. They ran out of tow trucks because cars were breaking down, overheating, accidents, people driving into people. It was
what a nightmare.
the definition of a shit show.
It's a shit show.
I was stuck in that show in my Miata actually.
How do you get stuck anywhere?
I don't know. It's so light. You just have 4 minutes to pick it up, tip it over.
Too low.
Yeah. No, I was like, I had like 3 inches of clearance, and I was getting roasted by everyone for being like, you could fit a shoe under that, man. Not good. I got a credit card.
Is that thing trail rated?
What's going on here? Trail rated.
Track hog.
It's my track hog Miata. No, but I got stuck in that line for I think it was like 4 hours. I turned my car off. I left it in the line. And I walked back in because it was a hot dog vendor still selling hot dogs.
You were hungry.
$3. I went in, bought a hot dog, walked back to my car. No one had moved. And 2 cars in front of me and 240 ran out of gas.
For the people that don't realize what we're talking about 6 miles.
Yeah.
It's 6 miles.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a 45-minute drive normally. We're talking about 6 miles.
Yeah.
And
well, no, I couldn't make it to
where the track
is.
It's hard.
0.1 mile to the exit.
Yeah. Where it is people
just didn't have enough planning. And it's a hard venue to get in and out of. But
it isn't the easiest.
You know, the stories where there was $15,000 in cleanup. $15,000 in cleanup. The track was
because people were disrespectful.
Ripping out through the grass, throwing their trash, throwing glass. It was a mess. And then recently they tried to do this train wreck again in Sanford at a closed mall. And the day before the event, the city and the police pulled the permits and said,
I heard about that.
And you know, I don't know what the real story is, but the stories we heard were that they found out what happened at the last event, and they were like, we don't need this kind of a disaster in our town. So I think Mystery Meat is done. I'm not going to miss it, but
for now, at least.
For now, but the thing is, it's a perfect example of what not to do. Bigger isn't always better. Quality over quantity. I mean, you know, if you want to save up and attain something, but unfortunately, I think that's what we're talking about in another episode about stupid mods and where it's like I mean, cheap doesn't necessarily get you there.
Yeah, and look at it like this: if you have 2 separate car shows, one show is someone's going to pay $65 for entry. That's someone who really wants to go. They care about it. They really want to put the money and the time and effort in.
It also means their car is probably quality enough to win.
Yeah, but then you go to a car show where somebody has $5
$10 per car.
You can find $10 and
Yeah.
just get into
Yeah,
it.
or you and your 7 friends crammed in your Corolla can all pull it.
Yeah.
Well, and it actually points to a good point, which is that,
Cheaper isn't always better.
well, when it comes to car shows, the ones that the price of admission filters out a lot of that bullshit.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people.
Right.
So, they're like, oh, I'm not going to spend that much to go there. Well, probably they don't want you there anyway.
Yeah.
And the people who do show up are respectful, don't litter on the ground, don't lean on people's cars,
but
don't scratch them,
Yeah.
don't disrespect the venue, don't
swing your
disrespect the
lanyard
people.
over
So,
someone's
yeah,
hood
correct.
while looking
It's
at
like,
it.
I've trained car show judges. We do it every year. We
Yeah.
do a couple of charity events, and
Included.
50% of the course is ethics.
Right.
How to touch a car, how to handle a car, how to greet the person, make them feel the experience. Thank God bowling.
I think
out
God is
there.
bowling.
Uh,
I think he's driving his
I know.
Gen 3 Camaro.
Florida weather. but I mean, but it's like, it's always, like, how many times have you gone to a car meet? Let's not even go for shows.
Yeah.
Or a car show, and it's, reggaeton at 400 decibels.
Interesting you should say that, because when I do go to car meets, no matter what car I'm in, no matter how nice it is, I always park it incredibly far away from everyone else and walk
Well,
to
that
the
was
gate
another problem with
always.
the OSW event, is the vendors got crammed on top of all these loud audio vehicles, and they
Oh my
couldn't
God.
even talk to
That's
customers because you can't. When I do shows,
If
when
you see a lime green Suburban roll up to your car meet people, just leave.
Yeah.
we do.
Just don't.
When
Just
you
don't even think about it.
when you build a lot of cars,
Yeah.
the venue, the guys who are throwing events will call you.
Yeah.
You get used. Hey, you coming to my event? How many cars you bring? And that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, I'll be like, okay, yeah, this is what our plan is. Okay, well, where do you want to be? I'm like, as far away from the stage as humanly possible.
Yeah.
You want to be? Yeah. Now the cars will bring the crowd. Put me over here. I want to be either by the entrance to the show, so where the first thing people see, or get me away from the stage, because I don't want to be voiceless by the end of the day.
Screaming.
This is a skyline.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you're
Screaming over dubstep the whole time.
but it's like, and if for people who don't realize, most people don't like reggaeton.
No.
That's been
Or
my
dubstep.
Or dubstep.
Yeah.
We have a friend who has an exceptional hatred for reggaeton, and he's always at the events with us, just like...
What's funny is, certain people who should remain nameless are big into car audio.
Yeah.
You should hear your music.
Yeah.
If your music, it can be heard at an annoying volume level 3 cars away, it's too loud.
Interestingly,
Or 25 cars away.
I make this point all the time because in my job I spend a lot of time on the road. And I find it, and this isn't like a topic, but it's just something I think you'll probably agree with, and you might too. I find it funny that it's always the people who have the most money put into their car audio that have the worst taste in music.
Yes.
I mean, I hear this awful racket a half a mile away. I'm like, what is that? What even is that? And you just hear like horns playing. Like, who's playing?
What was
Why are you sharing this with me? I don't want to know about it.
at Clean Culture, by the way, lesson learned there, we parked in the back and we were the last cars out.
Yeah.
That was horrible. But do you remember that guy? There was a guy who had it was a DC2 audio car.
Yeah.
And he played S Club 7.
Which the one the
The,
recent
the most
The one
recent
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, the one inside. The first one where I drove the Subaru there with the injectors on the whole time and you got mad at me because I left the water pump on.
Oh, the air cooler spray.
The air cooler spray. I drove all the way to
It's
the
when
show.
you were like, it's when you're driving around on the motorized cooler.
Like, this car has a lot of power.
Yeah,
no,
it's great. Intake charge is really cool
Yeah.
all the
Had
time.
locking diffs on all the way around. I was like, I thought it was the adjuster for the lights to dim them. And I'm just like, come.
In a Subaru.
Important lesson: make sure you train the people before they drive your stuff.
And I'm sorry. I'm still so sorry about that. That poor car.
Oh,
You're
man.
gonna,
Beautiful
you're gonna get that Miata on the road, and I'm gonna drive it. So
He's gonna, if you could fit.
yeah, I'll fit it.
But no, there was a guy with a sound, an audio DC2 type R, and I'm like, it's a really nice car. It's amazing. It had so much money put in it, and it was like Takata style. And it was a beautiful car. And then he played S Club 7, and then followed by Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites by Skrillex. And then he just started. He had his friend walk over, and the guy plugged in his like iPhone 5 into the freaking charger cable, and he's like, "I got you." He would just blast reggaeton in this car, and literally, I remember like the vendors came over, and they're like, "We're about to have like a discussion. We're gonna have a dance competition. Can you turn that down?" And they went, okay. And to be funny, they blasted it again as the dance competition started. So they just went over there, they took the key out of the car and walked away with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, it's
Good.
I'm proud of them.
Good.
But and it's not just audio; it's burnouts and stupid behavior.
Well, but they're all the same kind of person, aren't they?
No, they're
all,
exactly the
they're
same.
all the
Yeah.
same kind of person. They're like these. I don't know. I don't want to out anybody.
It's the perfect example of not being sexist, racist, or any of that. It's that kind of person.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
nothing to do. They're. It's not, and they're not color differentiated.
No.
Or
They're like the weebs of the car world.
They're usually
they're
wearing
like
khakis.
car weeaboos, all of them. They're just the
it's the
worst.
guys that got into the event.
Yeah.
It's the guys that got into the event that should have a T-shirt that says "I'm the lowest common denominator."
Yeah.
Like I'm the guy that no one will admit I'm their friend,
I used to.
especially at the car show.
I used to think.
I'm wearing a Blip Shift t-shirt.
I'm wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah. I used to think.
I love
that,
Blip Shift though.
I used to think that if you had certain cars, certain types of cars, you could sort of price yourself out of those
It
people.
used to be.
But you can't
It used
anymore.
to be,
No.
yeah.
So like I've gone to.
Well,
I've
it's
gone
because
to-
mods are nothing more but stance anymore.
Well, I've gone to like
So-
BMW shows, right?
Air
And there's-
on the lip.
There's a few different BMW clubs in the Orlando area, the Central Florida area. But I went to one show that I hadn't gone to before because the girl who puts it on constantly invites me, and I felt bad for never going. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna name her, but you probably know.
I know who it is.
I know who it is too.
But yeah, but I was like, I never
And you
go.
had me at BMW.
Yeah. But it's
Does
not
she
the
own any of them?
good one. It's the other one. But it doesn't matter. So she constantly invites me. I'm like, I'm gonna go. I never go. I'm gonna go. So I go and I took my 46 M3, and it was clean at the time. There's nothing wrong with it. And I go there, and like everyone's like, "When are you gonna lower it? When are you gonna put wheels on it?" And I'm like, "Who are you people? Like, what? You know?" And I just was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna
It's
do
like
that.
that video
Whatever."
with the JDM Bears.
Oh,
Or the stance bears.
Go to JDM.com
The
parts.
two bears like argue with each other about.
It's not Hello Fresh, bro.
Oh yeah. Well, so it was like there were like an ocean of people like this at this.
You know what? You know what's
And-
the worst
well,
experience?
Just to finish it though, this guy comes up and he's like, "Oh, can I see under the hood what you've got done?" Like, what? He's nerding out on the car, and I'm like, "Dude, it's a daily. It's very plain. Like, it's got wheels and tires, and that's it."
But
But where I'm going with this, where it's relevant, is like the majority of the people at that show were those people,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh, this is why I don't go to the show," and I've never gone back.
Before you start, I think I have the best example because unfortunately I have an opinion that Miatas are becoming the new Civics. I don't know if
That's hard.
as a Miata owner, I'll say it. I'll
I
put
like
it this way.
Miatas too much to agree.
I like
Yeah,
Miatas.
I
Actually,
love them.
I've seen some really hot Miata chicks, and I
Yeah.
have not seen a lot of hot
I can
Miata
direct you
chicks.
to a few. They don't like you, but I can direct you to a
Yeah,
few.
cool.
But no, like showing up to any Miata meet I ever used to go to, I drove a track-oriented Miata.
Yeah.
Michael, very track-oriented Miata. As soon as you pull up, you have like 0.5% what is this? You have like no camera. What are your wheels? Why do you have 50 profile tires? Why are your tires 10 wide? Why are they Toyota 888s? When are you gonna lower your car? When are you gonna stance your car? Why is it boosted but why is it not allowed? I'm like, I don't want a stance car. I want a car that I
This
can
isn't a
beat a
sedan
Porsche
car.
on Daytona.
This is a functional
Yeah.
car.
But it's like we talked about in another episode about money
Throw my fourth rod
Money.
through the engine on I-4.
being cheap, mining your car cheaply.
Yeah.
Like, I have people that are you going to lower your NSX more? No. Why not? Because
Destroy it.
I can do 90 around a corner,
Yeah.
and I don't scrub anything.
Without sweating.
Right. And it's like everything isn't about
He has.
everything isn't about stance. And when I set my car up, getting the suspension the way it needed to be, aligning it 3 times, going, and then we didn't even go the distance like corner balancing, and like what a lot of guys will do with track ready, to be honest and stuff. But
Which is a pain, by the way.
it's like, you're either buying a car, you're either building a car to make an image statement,
Right.
or to make a track
A
statement.
functional
Like,
statement. yeah.
some of the fastest cars I've seen are some of the ugliest cars I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, we have a friend of ours that has an sub-8 second Eva.
Oh, yeah.
Tony's car.
Tony.
Right? The guys from King's Performance.
Yeah. It's not the prettiest Evo
No.
by far,
But
but it is
when
a
it
fast
shoots 6
Evo.
foot of flame out of the hood and runs sub-8s, I think they're going for 6s.
They've gone
now.
for 6s now.
And it's
psychotic.
insane.
Yeah.
But you're not. You don't care at that point.
No.
Your numbers. Your numbers are your thunder.
There
I
was
love
a
that
red.
he can chirp a burnout and jump the whole car with all-wheel drive.
There was a red E30. Not that you guys would be into this so much.
I love
It's my thing.
this.
Well, there was a red E30 at the last Auburndale Drift event, which there was a number of fast cars there.
Amber
This-
no.
No, just regular.
Just regular,
30.
okay.
Yeah. But it had a 1J. It
Oh,
was like 540-ish wheel horsepower.
So
You can do that
It
with a
was
non
dependable.
It
Yeah.
ripped, and it was the most hideous car there. But it ripped. The driver knew how to drive the car, and it was easily the fastest car there the whole day. And there was cars with like
See, I
LS
watched-
swaps and so on. This thing ripped.
But
It's ugly.
so getting out of racing, getting into racing.
Elrod.
It was uglier, but not as beat up.
Yeah. But like
But
not
Keegan
to,
was a
not to cut you off or anything, but it's like I don't know if we can name drop, but Keegan Elrod, I will give you props. Like he has one of the ugliest BMWs.
It rips though. It is.
But it rips so hard.
Yeah, it does.
It rips insane.
This car was arguably faster.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm telling you, like everybody who was there, including the guys who put on the event, was like just watching it rip through the
So,
course.
like getting back to shows,
But,
not
yeah.
racing. But it's like
Sorry.
when you get into the show end of it, it's like, why are you going? Like I've gotten a bunch of trophies,
Yeah.
and it's not. I still like. I've met all you guys and half of
Yeah.
my friends. Car meets car shows.
Yeah,
loving that. And that's you go to something that's you meet like-minded people, and that's what it is. I don't remember exactly how I do, but you know, but
I
it's
think I'll put you at a BMW show.
but it's like,
Right after we met, we're like,
God help us.
He must have been drunk.
did you really meet at a BMW? Why were you at a BMW
I
show?
don't know if he was.
He had to.
There were
drunk.
BMWs there for sure. It might not have been a BMW show.
Which is odd because they actually made it there, but.
Yeah.
They succeeded.
But it was, I mean, when you look at the car show world, like you were saying earlier, where's it going to go? I don't know. I want to see bigger, better venues. I want to see, and I think a couple of things need to happen. I think these venues that are used to making tons of money on conventions and everything else should pluck their head out of their butt and realize these rooms go empty a lot. Hotels understand it.
Yes.
Hotels discount their
Airplanes
rooms.
understand it.
So airplanes
Airliners,
understand it.
Yeah,
Best tickets I've ever gotten.
Stop charging these car show guys $25,000 to have your room for a day. Give them
Half a day.
Give them a deal, and they will come back bigger and bigger and bigger. And then before you
Big
know
money
it,
on volume.
they will have 2 rooms, and then you can they'll can afford it. Help them afford you.
Right.
And they'll afford you more often.
Right. These guys. I know Nick from Clean Culture.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He busts his butt.
I
He's
drove
not,
by his house every
he's
day
not.
on the way home.
You could tell the guys that hustle. The guys from Tuner Evo. You can't get. I know them really well. You can't get a word in edgewise with them at a show, and I don't even try anymore because they're so busy trying to put on the best show they can.
Yeah.
Clean Culture.
They don't even enjoy the show. They're
Simple
spending
Clean.
so much time
Simple
I
working
get
it.
that. I get that.
And then
Well, you
have,
see Will on the BMX just flying around.
well, and then you have guys that ride around on their grandma's bike.
Yeah.
And they wonder why their event sucks.
Mhm.
Because they're just trying to make sure everyone sees them. Look who I am.
Mhm.
And that's not the point. The point
No,
is
it's
the show. Yes, you can make money putting on these shows, but you lay out that money long before you do the show.
Oh yeah.
It takes money to put on these shows. If you ever have been to an indoor show, an indoor event, and it was good, and you guys liked it, you really don't understand how much it costs to make it that way. I mean,
Thousands, tens of thousands
sure.
were spent
And
before the first
but
person.
people don't even
walked
think
in.
about it. They don't think about it. You could spend 100 per night on average would walk in the door spending $35,000 per day on an event. The bottom.
Easily.
Now,
That doesn't count vendor.
you can
That
double
doesn't-
that.
Just
That's
many
just-
There
days.
have been situations where you double that money.
Yeah.
But you're out for so long,
Sorry.
you're out that money for so long.
Fucking amateur. Get that out of here.
Get your bottle out of here.
This is everybody throw their water bottle.
Yeah.
Hey, now
Throw that shit out of here.
We avoided the camera in all
We have
perspectives.
good aim.
We have accuracy. It's our
But,
left
Apparently, yeah.
but
somehow.
yeah, now the camera's a lot more.
so I think
I'll give you.
Did your camera die though?
Yeah, battery died.
Did it?
Yeah, that's why.
From as
Maybe
a
you
result
should
of us
charge
throwing
him more.
batteries?
No, no. Oh, I thought you were
Throwing
asking.
bottles?
We threw batteries.
Batteries.
We're
That'll fix.
We're giving a lot more to edit, but anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, the venue needs to help out. I think the venue is the guys that have the. I mean, you have a multi-million-dollar venue, you can cut the price a little bit.
Yeah.
Or
Shave a dollar.
or do something. Especially if you know these guys are going to come back.
Right.
You know, you do these venues like the Clean Culture event that they did recently in
The one
Kissimmee.
it was Kissimmee?
Yeah, they did it where
It
they
was the
did.
Harley dealership.
No.
Oh no,
No,
I'm thinking of
that's-
Simply Clean.
Yeah,
My bad.
Clean Culture did an event called the Bar Expo. They did it in Kissimmee at the Silver Spur Arena, which is the same arena that they do Mecum at.
Which was awesome.
And they had a lot of the premier cars inside in the stadium area, and they had a lot of cars outside. But it's like they were lucky; the weather was great.
Yeah.
But you know,
It was muggy though.
you spend all
It's
well,
Florida.
that's
It's
that
Florida.
area.
What can you ask?
But you look at that; it's a crapshoot. I guarantee you, Nick was like sitting up at night in his hotel room, biting his nails,
Yeah.
wondering if it was going to rain that day. And you know who has the best luck? Simply Clean.
They do.
They do it every year on the same day,
Perfect.
and I have literally looked at the weather report, and it said it was going to pour.
Mhm.
And we get up early in the morning, we drive out there, and sometimes you get spritzed on a little bit on the way. And I've literally stayed there and looked around, and I watched the storm go around
The venue.
It's like they have like deflector shields. I remember the storm.
The government's using HARP for that.
we were sitting there. We're sitting by the booth. It's like me, you, and Jason, and we're just watching this sheet of rain. It hit the
It's
the
like on the
fence.
other side of the highway.
It literally hit the fence and just went around. It missed the venue by like 5 feet, not even. And we're just like, what is this?
You know, and you get, but
I filmed that. I was like,
when
rain
you
falling
do
over
the
here.
high-end stuff, for example, when we do the event every year at Festival Speed in Orlando,
Yeah.
that's Carlton.
Yeah.
We've driven there and it's been drizzling when you get there, and you're like, hey, it's going to be drizzling, and it just turns into the most
Yeah.
beautiful day.
It opens up into blue skies, not a cloud in sight, and perfect sunsets.
Other than the fact that it's the only place I've ever paid over $100 for all of us to have pancakes.
Oh, I forgot.
We all went and had
Sound like
breakfast.
good
I bought
pancakes.
everybody breakfast.
They were not.
Sound like good. They're not good.
They were pancakes.
They were-
okay?
Just regular
they weren't,
Waffle House.
they weren't, they
Oh.
weren't dipped in something, you know,
Keep going.
pharmaceutical.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
They were pancakes.
All right.
And it was like, I was like, and it was like 6 of us or something. But
Yeah.
like, that's a lot of money for pancakes. I'm
Pancakes.
just saying, you know. And some orange juice. I was like, man, does this come with like a gallon of orange juice I can take with me?
Does it come with a winning lotto ticket?
You're like
What is
waiting,
this?
like it's endless, right? I get to eat as much as I want. No, you get 4. Just, oh,
Well, no, it was a buffet. You could go back up and
Oh, you
get as much
could?
as you want. Yeah.
Ah, joke's on you.
But it was still like, how much pancakes can you eat for $100? But
$100 worth.
but I mean, get you know.
I need 2
The
guys.
key thing too is if you have whether you're a spectator or you're an attendee, you're showing your car, go to these events, support them.
Yeah.
Tell the people at the event what you think is good, what you think is bad.
Yeah.
Because they don't have time to really, you know what I mean?
To ask
Right.
and
You know, was
They're so busy trying to make
but
it
it's-
run.
but it's-
make it work.
but
yeah.
like I always think about the guys at Tuner Evo now or the guys at Clean Culture. They have it down.
Mhm.
Like roll-in is organized. Boom, boom, boom. You're in. You're parked. You're having a good time. They want you there. They want you visiting the vendors. They've got it on lock. There's a lot of shows. I'm not trying to isolate them, but we're in Florida. That's what we see. But they do a good job.
So basically, the answer is the future of car shows is for people who want to put on new events or start new series.
Right.
To pick out the things they like the best about the shows that work well
Right.
and just mimic it.
Right.
Just find the ingredients,
Yeah.
define them.
Hot
and
Import Nights is now to the point where probably 30% of the attendees at a Hot Import Nights event are not imports.
Yeah,
That's
and you know
true.
what's funny is I probably won't go to a Hot Import Nights. I get invites all the time, and I'm like, I don't
When was the last one that was even close to us?
I don't know, probably Atlanta. But I was like, I
Mile.
don't even want to go. I don't even want to.
It's and it's not like what it used to be. I mean,
Well, and that's why. That's why I don't want to go. It's not because I have some issue with Hot Imports.
What
It's
it
just
is,
not
what it
really
was.
hot.
what it
imports
is
nights.
now is
It's a light version.
it's not
The
as
Bud
good.
Light of Hot Import.
It's not as good most times as some of the other shows that we've mentioned,
Right.
and
Yeah,
it's
maybe that's
it's
it.
just the brand.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
name recognition. It's not what it used to be, and that's sad. I mean, I like.
I didn't mean to rope you into that.
Oh no. But I like shows that have diverse attendance, people, cars. I like to see different stuff. Yeah, granted, judge cars as long as I have, you get kind of tired of trying to figure out who's going to win best static stance or stuff like that. Because now
Just
it's
give
like
it to a Miata.
that's literally
Good to BMW.
important advice for anybody putting on
Limbo.
car shows. If you're going to have a trophy for stance, start having trophies for individual makes of car.
Yeah, yeah.
Because trying to come up with a one guy who's 2 millimeters lower than the other guy.
doesn't
I
roll.
forget what event we went to recently, but they had like lowrider limbo.
No,
They had like a limbo pole, and if the car that fit under the limbo pole, like the lowest one won, and it was like
Miata one.
it was like Miata.
Yeah, they
I
always
went-
win those.
I went to a car show, and this
Not
was
even
this was
fair.
about a year ago. I went. It was in where was it? Ormond Beach. I went to a car show in Ormond Beach, and they had a limbo competition. And there was a guy who just rolled up in a Miata. Everyone rolled away, and it's like, no, keep coming, keep coming. Everyone went around. They had lowest Miata, lowest S2000, and then lowest car. They like
That makes sense.
they
That's logical,
classed
yeah.
Miata and S2000
Yeah, they
separately.
They should.
Yeah. Some dude, the guy who actually won, by the way, was a guy who took a mini truck and cut his roof down by like a foot. So his window was like this. Like he was literally like you could see the slit of his eye. It started off as an S.
Teen culture has this thing where they have a two-step contest.
Oh yeah.
Where they have a
Nice.
burnout box.
Nice.
And it's like, and so you have cars that just go for that. Yeah.
That freaking
And a
super.
friend of mine that was here for that one video, the Black Widow Supra,
Yeah.
Kyle,
Yeah.
that's his thing. I'm actually going to try to see him this weekend.
Two-step competitions? Or
Well,
no?
that's his thing with his car. Like he goes around with this Mark IV Supra, and now it's got these crazy wheels and tires on it. It's going to come back bigger and better in like a week.
Can I just say that black Supra? And there was this black Supra that was behind us that was the loudest
That's the
two-step
car.
That,
That's
oh, it was that car.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Hey, two-step your car," and he's behind us, pointing his exhaust at us. So he just start the car, and all of us like, "Oh." Like after an hour, you're just like, "Are you out of gas yet?"
And that's how I met him.
My soul hurts.
That's how I met him.
Stop.
I met him because I was
My
like,
soul hurts because I said gas instead of petrol.
what I
Yes, you've been here
what
too
I
long.
what I liked about it was, so yeah, I'm going to throw him under the bus a little bit here. Apparently, the entire super community hates him. like TJ Hunt
Why?
just got a Mark IV Supra.
Oh, I don't want one
Oh,
anymore.
Well, TJ Hunt got
Don't
a
want
Mark
one
IV Supra,
anymore.
and they were like, and he was telling me that they're like, TJ, don't be like that Black Widow Supra guy. and it's like,
He
you
should
know,
definitely be like
you know
that.
you have reached, you know,
Absolutely do it.
you know, have you have reached your pinnacle when super people hate you?
Of like douchebaggery.
Yeah, because it's like these guys are, you know, it's the
Del
car.
Sol people hate
The
me.
car flies in the face of everything that the super community is like. You know, it's like, oh, look how pristine it is. I have my Dyna sheet tattooed on my chest. You know, I've never gone to a racetrack in my life. You know, look how pretty my car is.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it is. And that's how they are. It's bragging. I have a Supra. I have a Supra. It's like
Interesting.
it's kind of
I
like
have a 1500 horsepower Supra. What do you have?
Right.
Have you ever tracked it? No. How many miles do you have? 20,000.
But
How
now,
much of those are
now they're getting their vindication because of the values.
That's interesting because like personally, as far as like car collection goes, like I have an E30 M3, I have an E46 M3. When I buy these cars, I don't care what the scene
jealous
is
of
like.
you, by the way.
I don't care what the scene is. I buy them for what the cars can do.
Right.
So that's why I like Supras is because of what they can do. Like I want a Supra for that. I don't care what the scene.
That's why I bought a
And
Euro.
I had a
It's
Supra.
cheap fun.
I had a Supra.
Yeah.
I've owned two
It's a
right-hand
GTI.
drive ones
Yeah.
over the years. Two right-hand drive ones. One with quite a bit of horsepower, and I just never liked it. It was too
The
big.
blue one?
Yeah, I never liked it. It was fast. It was fast on the highway.
Yeah,
It was not a quarter-mile car. It sounds great. The engines are amazing, but the car looks like a jelly bean in my opinion.
What the Mark IV?
Yeah,
Yeah, it kind of
It's
does.
the,
I can see
I
that.
absolutely
Logan's really looks like a
despise the
jelly bean.
headlights, and I always say it's like the Jennifer Lopez of Japanese cars. It's got a big curvy butt, and it only does one good thing right. You know, it goes fast on the highway. It's a Grand Touring
What's
car.
the thing that Jennifer Lopez does right?
Sing.
I bet she can do something.
She
else.
can act excellent.
Okay, so there might be a third thing.
All right, whatever. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt on that. J-Lo and some stuff. But that's the whole thing. I
It's the
didn't care.
Macaulay Culkin of cars. It can only act like a child, but that's all it can do.
It was one of those
That's
cars.
the one thing it can do.
It was one of those cars that just had bragging rights. I own Supra.
Yeah.
Now it's turning into the R35. The R35 is
Yeah.
the same group of people, same
No, too
personality
many
type.
people own R35s now. It's
That's also
frustrating
true.
me.
That's
If you're a YouTuber, what are you gonna buy?
R35.
R35.
But you know why?
Because it's a fast.
Because you probably
reliable
can't
car.
drive standard.
Almost certainly. Almost certainly.
That's
I bet you can
shockingly
count-
true.
I bet you can count on one hand the amount of YouTubers with over 1 million subs
Mhm.
that can drive a
Like,
manual.
I'm coming from the motorcycle world right here.
Well, yeah.
Do It With Dan went from
Do it with Dan. I used
Do
to
It With
watch it with
Dan.
Dan all the time. Yeah.
Went from a Corvette
What's
to R35.
what's funny is when we met,
Oh,
a
no.
while
He
back,
did,
we
he's
met,
a wild
we met
35.
Tanner Fox, and he's like a teenage kid, 17-year-old.
Yeah.
He has a GTR, he has an R35, but you know, getting to know him a little bit, it's like he has an FRS, it's manual. He's had 240s. He's got a Corvette.
I understand it.
And he actually drives. The kid can actually drive. I mean, he's not going out there trying to be a professional race car driver. He's amazing on a scooter.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
No,
He's really
scooter
good at it.
talent is like 120%.
I would,
It's ridiculous.
I would watch him do tricks on the scooter, and I would wait for me to get hit in the head with the scooter. That's how bad I am at anything like that.
You know when you're playing like a
I can
video game
ski,
and you
that's
watch
about it.
like you do stuff that you're like nobody can ever do this in like
He's
real
the
life.
kid who
It's
does
like insane.
I know who he is. It's just being. I don't know. I don't want to say too
Age
much. I don't
bracket,
know.
we don't watch
Well, it's not that. It's just like being really good at scootering is like being really good at something incredibly lame. Like it's like, well,
what's that?
It's
What's that?
awesome that you're the best at it, but I don't want to do it.
What's
No.
that thing where you have a string and like a ball you bounce in the middle of the string?
The thing is,
It's like that. It's like
Yes,
being really good.
I-
at
Yeah. It's all you're the
But-
best
but-
at that. That's
It's
awesome.
amazing, but I don't
but
really
here's
care.
the thing.
Yeah.
I will go a step further in his defense. I will say that somebody like
I don't know the guy.
No,
So-
well, I'm just saying.
He's
if-
nice.
If you go that far in that, I'll bet you could do a lot of other sports very well because it takes a lot of coordination.
But it only matters if he does.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, you guys see a lot of guys
That's true.
like a lot of YouTubers that started
Adam LZ.
doing something else now.
That's why drifting's so great. Because like a lot of these guys are having second careers. Like did Pro BMX, now it takes too long to heal. Ooh, I can do drifting. Like this is happening a lot. So and maybe he'll go the same route. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, in closing on the show stuff, I mean, I think it's 50% the promoter's
Yeah.
fault, whether it's positive or negative, but a
Usually.
lot of it is the attendant. I think bring good cars. Don't waste my time bringing me a car that you didn't vacuum.
So bring good cars.
Bring good, clean cars. The more time spent on a car, not necessarily money, time spent on a car, will get you a trophy.
Charge more admission.
Charge more admission to control the crowd.
But not to where it's outrageous. Because
No.
that's just.
I think-
ludicrous.
Yeah, but just don't like
Yeah.
I think
freeze.
$40 to
not free.
$45 to have a spot for your car and air conditioning all day
Yeah.
is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think $20 to $25 to walk into a show is fair.
Yeah.
I would
There's all
go as
these.
low as 15.
But the
20
thing is,
bucks.
there's
That's
all
low.
these promotional codes and discounts that's out there. It's like, look for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
Most people know a guy in the venue. They'll get a discount anyway.
or
If you're local.
and how many times I mean, thank you everybody for like walking us into events to
Yeah.
cover it.
Thank you,
Or-
Will, for always getting me in for free. I love you.
Yeah, it's like or I was lucky enough to have
That camera's
shown at Hot Import Night shows for years, and won to the point where the guys were like, "Yeah, come get your trophy."
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like,
Yeah.
and it was like to the point where they literally came up to me and said, "Do you want to work for us? Do you want to work with us and judge with us? Your car's a winner all the time. You obviously know what it takes to win. Do you want to
That's
judge?"
a fair
for us?"
point. That's a fair
One
point.
point with that, there's actually a
And that
joke.
was, I was amazingly, like giggly that
Yeah.
they did it. Yeah, it was like, but it's cool. It shows that your work pays off.
I actually attended an older, I'm going to keep it concise, but I actually attended an older car show where I think the newest car that was there was a 1970s Camaro. I think that was the newest car there. It was one with Jacob. I attended. It was
Right.
a Pontiac Camaro, and pretty much a GM show. And there's this guy, the best car by far. You don't even have to look at anything else. It's the Blue Bonneville. That is, every single panel on that car is fully custom. It's shocking. It's to the point where to open the door, you turn the side mirror. Like you turn the mirror and all the doors are open. That's how you put it in show mode. It opens the doors, it opens the hood, and it opens the trunk. I was like, you put that much money into this one device.
Well,
So when you get
fun.
to a show, all you have to do is go, "Er," and that's it.
It's
And
like-
he was so tired of winning, he said he'd won consistently for the past 8 years, that he's now judging, and he will not let anyone judge his
yeah,
car.
I'm like that too.
Yeah.
If my car is in a show at all, and I know the guys, I don't judge my car.
You
When we
never
were
judge your
when we were at that show that everybody else was with us won.
Yeah.
Remember they kept like, and the Skyline Trophy and the Nissan Trophy and da da da. They kept going up,
And they were like, what
Jason
about
kept
these
going
cars?
up and I was like, what about these? I'm like, I don't let him judge my car. So, the best was Steve walks up to me. I have a friend Steve has an NSX like that. And Steve goes up and he goes, I can't believe I won the best Acura or NSX.
He won
over,
best NSX.
yeah, over yours. I'm like, and I'm just like, I didn't let them judge my car.
He was this close to letting him have it, and Steve was way too happy, so he immediately started the grim reaper
I
of
was
the
like,
situation.
yeah, I didn't let him judge my car, Steve. and so they were like, oh. Okay. So you won the second best trophy, thanks. But this car's nice too. But it's like when you're two black NSXs at a show.
Yeah.
But the thing is, all the years I've judged, the easiest car to judge is always best of show. Like you can walk around, no judging sheet at all, and you can tell what's going to win best of show because it's so over the top. You know, it's so over the top, and that's why senior judges usually pick the high trophies, like best import, best. A lot of people don't realize this, but they pick the high-end trophies. They make sure the scores, because they know what the scores are going to be. You know, the scores are for the other stuff. You know, and then you'll see what the numbers add up to. Honda Core Nights and a lot of the shows use like a judging form that rates things from everything from interior custom. Yeah, we use it too, but a lot of guys are using iPads now, digital versions of it, which isn't. I don't care for
Working
it.
around with their iPhone.
Yeah, I don't care for it as much, but the whole thing was, you know, you look at these cars and you know it's going to be best of show. It's crazy. It's so over the top. Now I
woke up to that guy with the mirror underneath his car.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I will say that the hardest show I've ever judged was a Hot Import Night show in Los Angeles. At the LA Convention Center. That show had 250 cars, and I am going to throw this out there, and believe me or don't believe me, but there were at least 10 cars at that show that were dead heat even for best of show. They had Veilside body kitted Supras. They had STIs with mirrors under the car showing the polish.
But that makes sense. The state doesn't allow the cars to go fast, so they spend all their money and make them really look good.
But
they have to be as quiet as a water.
They're crews, and there's a crew, I can't remember their name, but they're in Houston, and they do a lot of VIP cars. And there was a car I saw in Houston, and the guy it was like a GS or an LS Lexus, slammed air, VIP all day. And the back seat, center console, had a chessboard. And the chessboard turned. And you could swing the chessboard, make your move, and then push it, and it would go to the other guy.
It was like magnetic, so they would stay in place.
This way.
It literally just went this way.
Went that way.
And when it slid, it turned.
I got to be careful then.
When it slid, it turned. So the pieces literally went.
Oh, that's crazy.
And you know, the sake bottles and this VIP. I love judging VIP cars.
I love VIP cars.
VIP cars are making a comeback hard.
The nuance. There was a guy. I wonder if it was the same car. Maybe not.
But cars are good body now.
The trunk.
I would think so.
The whole trunk was lined with teak wood.
Ooh.
It had a recessed thing with his air compressor suspended. Everything was chrome plated, and then he had literally like a little sake bar built into the trunk.
Yeah.
With the bottles and the little. And I was like, the time it must have taken to just think it up. To think it up. And he had these custom floor mats that were billet aluminum, bent, then drilled, like machined, and then there was inlay teak wood. And I said to the guy, I'm like, how do you, I said, no, I don't drive like this. I take these out. They go in little bags. And then I put regular floor mats in the car when I drive it, and then I put these in just for the show. But you look at that stuff, and it's just that level.
Yeah.
Clean wins. Clean cars. But
Yeah,
the first thing any judge will tell you is the first thing we look at is cleanliness.
Yeah.
Can we touch this car and not get dirty? Can we see that you took that you were in the engine bay with a toothbrush?
Yeah.
Because that impresses us. I mean, because that's how we think.
So basically, way to win car shows right now is stop bringing your stock Altimas.
Yeah, and then being
and I put some XXRs on my Sonata.
Yeah.
Do I win? Yeah. Try. Put effort in.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons I like, again, going back to Simply Clean. You have to be selected. You have to submit a photo of your car in your mod
Just
list
anyone can't show
I
up.
love when people get mad that
to get selected. And then we joke around.
I've been rejected.
Yeah, I know a lot of people with some decent stuff, and it's like, you know, we always joke about it because if you ever get a chance to go to Simply Clean, definitely go. But when you go to the event, you'll see all these cars, and every one of these cars is like, damn. Even the cars you might not like the style, they're damn.
No, I agree.
And then you go
because I've seen.
and then people have to drive. People have to drive past the show.
You pass the Supreme cars.
Right, to go
to
all the
OK
way in the
cars.
back to park your car to come in and pay to see the show.
Yeah.
And we call that the loser lot.
I've
You know?
I've seen videos of Simple. I've never been off during
You should
Simple.
go
Clean.
to
I always
shows.
have things to do. Well, I want to go, but I'm always working. But so I'll watch
Some of the
videos.
craziest stuff happens that we had.
I'll watch the after videos, and I'm just like, somebody will inevitably and this is kind of up your alley. Somebody will do like a pan shot, and I'm just like cars I don't even care about. I'm like, oh my god, that's really well
But
done.
that's
really well
that's
done.
actually
That's
a really
well
good
done.
point. The after videos are great, but you can't beat being there.
Well,
Go if you can.
but
If you
the
live in
video
Chicago
is so
and you
good.
want to see it, okay.
I'm like, God, I want to be
but
there.
go.
Yeah.
You know,
They actually have games. And
patronize
events at the show.
patronize the show.
I would
because
love to.
The people that do it are trying. Your money is making it possible for them to do it again.
It probably makes the show
And
better.
bigger, yeah.
in some ways.
You know what's actually proof of how good the VIP section at Simply Clean is? When they revealed the RWB Porsche in the Simply Clean like turquoise color at the show, people didn't really care about the Porsche because of everything else that was around it. It was great because like there was a
It
Porsche.
was not the star of the
No.
show. Yeah,
There
for
was-
once.
Underwhelming.
There were more people around Matt Mann's like La Tortuga, his little 600 horsepower 1.6 Miata,
Yeah,
than
yeah.
there was around the Porsche.
Wow.
It's amazing.
We go to a lot of stuff.
When you see a Miata with a parachute, you gotta look at it. Like, what is this?
But yeah, that show. Another thing about that show that's
For
really
transportation.
it's really nice is you
Yeah.
we always take the same spot every year with like a pre-registered spot, and it's because it's
I don't know how he gets that. Is it literally?
we know the owners.
Okay.
But and we've been going there for years. He literally called me, when are you going to the show? Yeah. But it's in the shade most of the day, honestly, and this skin does not like the Florida sun. So we did, I just tried. But the craziest stuff happened. So we had an R34, I think one time we brought like 4 of them to the show. And there was
You had the entire row of just skylines.
we try to impress at that show. So the funny thing was, there was a guy dressed in a full-size Ted outfit, the bear, and he was like sitting in the skyline, posing in the skyline. That stuff is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he came over and used to take all these pictures with it. I'm like, we got to get this guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the experience. You got to go. I love seeing guys bringing their kids. I love seeing, the new thing was like the kids in the little
in the cars.
motorized cars now.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have
Motorized electric cars.
Stan's little
Stan's
cars
little
too
cars,
on
yeah.
air ride.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like that kid's getting into it a lot sooner than we did.
Yeah.
All I had was that stupid. It looked like the McDonald's M, the like red with the yellow roof.
Oh,
Like a little push handle behind it.
they're called a something coupe.
I don't know.
They're little red cars with the yellow top. You know them, and
You know
they're
what
like
it
you drive
Oh,
like with your
pedal
feet?
cars?
Yeah, they're called like a something coupe. I know. What
Yeah. You push it with your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You Flintstone it.
It's it's
Flintstone.
literally a Flintstone.
You Flintstone.
That's what it is.
So your Miata.
Is a Flintstone car right now.
Or as we like to talk about the "Don't ask me about my Miata," so we're gonna ask you about Miata. When is the Miata going to be done?
2037.
For sure.
That's
For sure.
That's pushing it.
That's pretty tight on my budget. That's
Because cars are going to fly by the time that.
oh, but I'm gonna build this.
It'll be
Miata.
it'll be a rarity then.
People will be like, oh, do you know how one car looks? Let me talk to me like I'm a caveman. I was like, yes, I turned dinosaurs into fuel. Oh,
But all right.
I will
So
tell you, finding a low mileage, clean 1UZ is way easier than I thought it was.
Really?
you get the later one.
Yeah, I'm looking for like a
98?
97, 98
There-
PVTI.
I got a connection for that. But anyway, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.